Solomon Grundy, he can't die, right? He comes back into the swamp.
Yeah.
Like, and I heard the reason why his character changes throughout most of the time is because every time he comes back, he can come back with a different personality and also with different strengths and weaknesses, usually coming back stronger.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
And in fact, one point in time, actually, they revealed the reason why he comes back with a different personality is that he's actually coming back with a different aspect of Cyrus Gold's personality. And there was a comic book series dedicated just to Solomon Grundy. It was called Solomon Grundy, and
Comes back as his normal self, yeah, in that one?
yeah, he comes back as Cyrus Gold, and Cyrus Gold is approached by the Phantom Stranger and Alan Scott, and they both tell him, like, this is your one chance to break the curse, to stop the curse of Solomon Grundy. He has to find his own killer, or the descendant of the killer, and forgive them. And so he's like going on this journey, and he's meeting all these different characters throughout the series. And at the same time, he's like getting flashbacks of his own past, like what kind of person he was. And, you know, they show like he had a really shitty childhood and a really shitty life. And so he ended up becoming a really shitty person. But at the end, it's revealed that Cyrus Gold in the comics actually killed himself. And so Cyrus Gold is so angry and like, you know, frustrated with this news that he's just like in denial. And he's like, no, I didn't do this. This is bullshit. And it's at that moment he could have like, you know, accepted like, okay, yeah, I killed myself.
He could have rested in peace.
Yeah. Forgave himself. But because he didn't forgive himself, his soul went back to hell, and Solomon Grundy came back.
Thank you, Cyrus. Because seriously, if he forgave himself, that would suck. Solomon Grundy is really a sweet character to be used over and over again.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think even at one point there was a Swamp Thing comic where Swamp Thing actually thought that Solomon Grundy was a plant elemental or earth elemental like himself. But in the comic book itself, they reveal that Grundy is actually a failed earth elemental, that one of the properties or the elements you need in creating a earth elemental is fire. And that was in the creation of Swamp Thing, where the professor, you know, who he caught on fire and was exposed to all these chemicals, ran into the swamp to try and put himself out. You know, the original Swamp Thing,
Yes.
then became this plant elemental. With Grundy, since fire had nothing to do with his creation, he was a failed earth elemental. And that's why he's Solomon Grundy, this kind of like abomination.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's talk about the fight.
Wait. So with Solomon Grundy, you know your Solomon Grundy very well. So
Yeah.
For the listeners, if they actually want to pick up some comics, which ones would they be? Like,
I would recommend picking up the Solomon Grundy miniseries. I think you can get that in trade now. I would also pick up anything with the Justice League. I think there's what is it? Justice. It's this Justice series that is done by Alex Ross. Grundy's not a huge part of that, but he's a part of that in the sense that he's a member of the Legion of Doom. So, and the really cool thing is that at the end of each of those books, they have these like little Batman files where Batman has in the Batcave like a file written about every character in the DC universe, like his thoughts on them. And when he writes about Solomon Grundy, he talks about like how, you know, his parents told him that, you know, the boogeyman and monsters weren't real, but they didn't know that Solomon Grundy was real. And that the only thing he can do to try and even stop this evil is he has to try and prepare future generations, because Grundy will be around long after Batman's dead.
that's some deep stuff right there, my friend.
Does Batman write about himself?
I think so. I actually, I don't think I read it. I think Clark Kent writes about Batman.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But pick up any kind of like, you know, I would recommend picking up a DC encyclopedia, you know, look up some like, you know, characters, you know, that are very obscure. But yeah. Who knows? We might end up using Solomon Grundy in a future fight, though.
Yeah.
But in this fight right now, we have the modern Deadites against the Monster Squad. So I think, like, what is it? I'll be debating on behalf of the Monster Squad. I don't know who here has also seen the Monster Squad? Who wants to like jump on,
Totally read the Wikipedia page.
Oh, you did?
That I did. I feel like I saw it in my head.
Yeah, I never seen that movie.
I saw Monster Squad.
I hear it's cool and whatnot for like a kid's, Goonies, Goonie-esque movie. But yeah, I've actually never seen it. I think I've seen bits and pieces of it because it's like they're fighting against like the Mummy and
Yeah, they're fighting against Universal
Dracula.
Studio monsters. Yeah, they're fighting against Dracula, and the reason why I chose this fight originally was because the way they get rid of all the evil is similar to the way that the original Evil Dead movie ended, where they have to read from this book, they have to open a portal, and then all the evil gets sucked into the portal, which is what happens at the end of Evil Dead 2. So I was like, okay, if they could survive long enough and, read the book and send all the Deadites, through the portal. This, of course, assuming that there's an incantation in the modern Evil Dead.
That's assuming because there's only 5 ways to get rid of it, and that was through decapitation, fire,
and buried alive.
Oh, so there's only 3?
There's only 3.
Yeah.
All right.
So what I would say, okay, on my team we have, we have the main kid. His name escapes me, but he's like, he's the monster movie fan. And actually, we were talking about this, me and Joseph, how he's a huge horror movie buff. And how this movie, I think it was like in 1986 or 87 that it came out. Evil Dead 1 came out in 1981. So there is a percentile chance that he actually knows the Evil Dead movie. So he would know how to combat, or, a good... Oh, I see. Cameron is actually looking this up right now.
It's 87.
Let's get some names.
Oh, yeah. What do you got the name of the main kid?
Sean?
Yeah, looks like Sean.
Sean?
Yeah, Sean.
Okay, so Sean, the horror movie buff. We've got Horace, the fat kid.
Yeah.
We've got the...
Who's the punk kid bully guy that joins up with them?
Oh, he's not a bully. He actually
Right.
he gets into a fight with he threatens the bully.
That's right.
He sees Horace getting picked on by the Wonder Years brother. And
That's right.
yeah.
He's always
That guy,
he's always the bully.
Yeah.
I was watching that Scott Baio 45 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And like the brother of Wonder Years is his best friend.
Yeah.
He still has a dick face. I mean, the guy's cool. The guy seems hella cool and like down to earth when he's talking to Scott, telling him like, dude, you're an idiot. You need to kind of, get your shit together. But yeah, he still has a dick face.
So we got Horace, we got Sean, we've got Leather Jacket Kid. He ends up using like a bow and arrow set to kill the vampires and smoke cigarettes and rides a bike, trying to be all like
He's
rockabilly.
the cool kid.
Yeah, he's the cool kid. We also have, the creepy German guy.
Yeah.
We have the little girl, and we have Frankenstein's monster. I won't be tossing in the little boy and his dog, just because I don't want them to die.
You rather save a dog over some other kids?
Well, the little girl.
Well, I think my fiance Ashley would give me some good points on that because she's a huge like animal nut. But
What about Sean's older sister, who they try to get to read the incantation first? She could be included because she could die.
yeah, we could
She
toss
wasn't a
her in
virgin
there.
or something.
She's supposed to be.
Yeah, have it where
But it
the same
doesn't
thing
count.
where she's like
Emily? Emily's the name. The older sister.
Yeah.
the older sister's Emily.
Yeah.
Do we know the name of the biker kid? The one with the bow?
Dell. No.
Eugene?
How the hell do you have try to be the cool guy with the name Eugene?
Well, maybe that was his whole thing. Like, I gotta really,
step it
I
up.
got bummed on the name deal.
Overcompensated.
Yeah,
for
so
him.
I gotta be as cool as possible. Okay, against the Deadites. Now, the thing with the Deadites is that the only way the Deadites actually take physical form, or the demon takes physical form, is that 5 people have to die. Otherwise, they do possession.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you see this going? We have Sean, Horace, Eugene, creepy German guy, EJ.
EJ's a cool kid.
No, EJ's a creepy German. Oh yeah, dude. Does he still have a dick's face?
Yeah.
EJ's not.
He's not part of the squad.
Yeah, he's not part of the Monster Squad.
Yeah,
He's just a bully.
Yeah.
the older. Yeah, EJ was the older brother in the Wonder Years. Just look him up. He still has a dick face.
Yeah, the older sister and the little girl. Okay. And they're in the cabin. Oh, and with Frankenstein's monster, who has befriended the little girl.
Yeah.
Ah, so that was because this is gonna be a little one-sided with the Deadites. I mean, seriously, like if they didn't have some type of powerhouse to help them out, they'd be kind of screwed. But Frankenstein monster, if it's on their side, I mean,
well, because are they Deadites possessing these characters?
well, they would have to start with that.
That's what I would say. I would say, okay, now in the past and in the modern Evil Dead, they've always shown the female characters are usually more susceptible to getting possessed than the male characters.
So we're gonna say Emily,
for whatever reason that may be, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So probably the older sister would probably be the first one, and then probably next like the little girl, and then so on and so forth. But
it did go in that order in the movie too, huh? It was first the sister, then the doctor,
yeah,
and then
the girlfriend,
the girlfriend that cut her.
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah, see,
that's a little sexist. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and it's the same thing in the original Evil Dead too.
Yeah. I just never caught that.
Yeah, and what is it? The only guy who gets possessed is the guy who had already died. So, like, in theory, in the Evil Dead universe, if you're a guy, you have to die first for you to get possessed.
Yeah.
Oh.
But if you're a female, you could get possessed right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the Monster Squad, they're in the cabin. Sean is like, he's realizing where they are. He sees the book. He says, okay, we need to do this. We need to do this. Like, something's bad is going to happen. I know what movie we're in.
Did you check for dead cats?
All right. Well,
I would assume that.
Here's the thing, though. I would say the creepy German dude would be the one to read the book.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I would say who's going to start this stuff? Because
okay, so we'll say
happens in the book it's read.
Sean tells creepy German dude, you need to read this to find out a way to get us back home. Or, way to, get rid of this evil. Thinking that it's already out.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I was going to say, how are we going to get this started? Because, I mean, if I was those kids and I had some knowledge of what's going to happen, I'm not going to pick up that book.
Right, but I would see Sean, kind of jumping the gun, being like, okay, we're already in a creepy cabin. Okay, I know this movie. I've seen this movie before. Evil Dead. Okay, there's the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. It looks a little different than I remember in the movie, but,
Does it bite his fingers?
No. And so creepy German guy is trying to read it, Say he, has a percentile chance, to actually know what he's reading. And there's a percentile chance that he ends up reading the actual incantation that releases the deads.
I'm trying to see if I have at one point I had
like a dice app.
Yeah, like dice app to give some percentile, but I don't remember if I deleted it.
I had one on my phone too, but I took it off because it was taking up too much space.
I actually have.
Well, you actually have one?
I have a dice roller. I can change it.
Let's do that. Percentile. I would say we'll give him a 20% chance that he actually knows what he's reading. Is Sean the dumb one or what?
No? I'm talking about creepy German guy.
Okay, is he super smart about this stuff?
He's the one who ends up reading the book in
German, though, right?
But he just translates German. He's not really
average.
into this stuff at anything. I would say it's a 50-50 chance. If he's reading it, he would know that it's actually...
Well, that he knows both English and German, so he's multilinguist.
The only thing he doesn't know how to read is don't read this book.
And plus also, too, I think the book itself is... What was it? They didn't really say it wasn't written in English. Because they didn't say it was ancient Sumerian or anything like that. The English teacher was able to read it.
Another thing, too, that I was thinking about, too... since it is dealing with the supernatural, remember how you're saying about the English teacher, why would he be forced, why would he want to read this book and, after it says don't read it?
Right.
I was also thinking too that maybe the book actually has some type of aura or need.
Oh, like